Iyob, Job, chapters 1 through 7. Iyob, Job, chapter 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Iyob, and that man was perfect and straight, and one who revered Elohim and turned aside from evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him, and his possessions were 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a very large body of servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. And his sons went and had a feast in the house of each on his day, and sent and invited their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it came to be, when the days of feasting had gone round, that Iyob would send and kadosh them, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings, the number of them all. For Iyob said, "It might be that my sons have sinned and cursed Elohim in their hearts." This Iyob always did. And the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Hasatan also came among them. And Yahuah said to Hasatan, "From where do you come?" And Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, "From diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And Yahuah said to Hasatan, "Have you considered my servant Iyob, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who reveres Elohim and turns aside from evil?" And Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, "Is Iyob revering Elohim for naught? Have you not made a hedge around him and around his household and around all that he has on every side? You have baruch the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike all that he has, if he would not curse you to your face." And Yahuah said to Hasatan, "See, all that he has is in your hand, only do not lay a hand on himself." And Hasatan went out from the presence of Yahuah. And the day came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And a messenger came to Iyob and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding alongside them, when Shiva fell upon them and took them away, and they smote the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The fire of Elohim fell from the Shemayim and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The Kasdites formed 3 bands and made a raid on the camels and took them away, and they smote the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn, and see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to inform you." Then Iyob rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and did obeisance. And he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I return there. Yahuah has given, and Yahuah has taken away. Baruch be the name of Yahuah." In all this Iyob did not sin, nor ascribe wickedness unto Elohim. Iyob, Job, chapter 2. Again the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Hasatan also came among them to present himself before Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Hasatan, "From where do you come?" And Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, "From diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And Yahuah said to Hasatan, Have you considered my servant Iyob, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who reveres Elohim and turns aside from evil? And still he holds fast to his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without cause. And Hasatan answered Yahuah and said, Skin for skin, and all that a man has he would give for his life. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike his bone and his flesh, if he would not curse you to your face. And Yahuah said to Hasatan, See, he is in your hand, only spare his life. And Hasatan went out from the presence of Yahuah, and smote Iyob with loathsome sores from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he took a potsherd with which to scrape himself while he sat in the midst of the ashes. And his wife said to him, Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse Elohim and die. But he said to her, You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Indeed, should we accept good from Elohim and not accept evil? In all this, Iyob did not sin with his lips. And 3 of the friends of Iyob heard of all this evil that came on him, and each one came from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zohar the Naamathite. And they met together to come to sympathize with him and to comfort him. And they lifted up their eyes from a distance and did not recognize him, and they lifted their voices and wept. And each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head toward the Shemaim. Then they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that the pain was very great. Iyob, Job, chapter 3. After this, Iyob opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. And Iyob spoke and said, Let the day perish on which I was born, and the night it was said, A male child has been conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not Eloah from above seek for it, nor let light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death buy it back. Let a cloud dwell on it. Let all that blackens the day frighten it. That night, let darkness seize it. Let it not be included among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Look, let that night be silent. Let no singing come into it. Let those curse it who curse the day, who are ready to stir up Leviathan. Let the stars of its twilight be dark. Let it wait for light, but have none. And let it not see the eyelashes of the dawn. For it did not shut up the doors of my body, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not die from the womb, come forth from the body and expire? Why were there knees to receive me, or breasts for me to nurse on? For now I would have been lying in peace. I would have slept. Then I would have been at rest, with sovereigns and counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves, or with rulers who had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth, as infants who never saw light. There the wicked cease raging, and there the weary are at rest. The prisoners rest together. They do not hear the voice of the oppressor. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Why does he give light to the sufferer and life to the bitter of being, who are waiting for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than treasures, who rejoice exceedingly? They are glad when they find the grave. Why does he give light to a man whose way has been hidden, and whom Eloah has hedged in? For my sighing comes before I eat, and my groanings pour out like water. For that which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I dreaded has overtaken me. I have not been at ease, nor have I been undisturbed, nor been at rest, yet trouble comes. Iyob, Job, chapter 4. And Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? But who is able to withhold himself from speaking? See, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have raised up him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the weak knees. But now it has come to you, and you are impatient. It strikes you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your trust, the integrity of ways your expectancy? Remember, please, who, being innocent, has ever perished? And where have the straight ones ever been cut off? According to what I have seen, those who plow wickedness and sow suffering reap the same. Through the breath of Eloah they perish, and through the wind of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion, but the teeth of the young lions shall be broken. An old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. And unto me a word was secretly brought, and my ear received a little of it. Amid thoughts from visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, causing my bones to shake greatly. Then a spirit passed before my face, the hair on my body stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. Silence. Then a voice I heard. Is mortal man more righteous than Eloah? Is man more clean than his maker? Look, he puts no trust in his servants, and he charges his messengers with straying. How much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed like a moth? From morning till evening they are beaten down, they perish forever with no one regarding. Are not the cords of their tents pulled up? They die without wisdom. Iyob, Job, chapter 5. Call out, please. Is there anyone to answer you? And to which of the Kodashim would you turn? For wrath kills the fool, and envy slays the simple. I myself have seen the fool taking root, but suddenly his home was cursed. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate with no one to deliver. The hungry eat up his harvest, taking it even from the thorns, and the snare snaps up their wealth. For evil does not come from the dust, nor does trouble spring from the ground. For man is born for trouble, and the sparks fly upward. But as for me, I would seek El, and I would submit my case to Elohim, who is doing great and unsearchable deeds, innumerable wonders, who is giving rain on the earth's face and is sending waters on the field's face, to put the lowly on high, and those who mourn shall be lifted to safety, thwarting the schemes of the crafty so that their hands do not work effectively, catching the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of schemers are swept away. By day they encounter darkness, and at noon they grope as in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword of their mouth, from the clutches of the strong. Thus the poor have expectancy, and unrighteousness shuts her mouth. Look, Baruch is the man whom Eloah reproves, so do not despise the discipline of El Shaddai. For he bruises, but he binds up. He smites, but his hands heal. In 6 distresses he delivers you, and in 7 no evil strikes you. In scarcity of food he shall redeem you from death, and in battle from the power of the sword. When the tongue scourges, you are shielded, and you have no fear when destruction comes. At destruction and at starvation you laugh, and you have no fear of the beasts of the earth. For your covenant is with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tent is in peace, and shall visit your tent and not sin, and shall know that your seed are many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to the grave in ripe old age, like the stacking of grain in its season. Look, this we have searched out. It is so. Hear it and know for yourself. Iyob, Job, chapter 6. And Iyob answered and said, Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed, and my calamity be placed on these scales. for it would outweigh the sand of the sea. Therefore my words have been rash. For the arrows of El Shaddai are within me. My spirit drinks in their poison. The onslaughts of Eloah are arrayed against me. Does the wild donkey bray when it has grass, or does the ox bellow over its fodder? Is tasteless food eaten without salt? Is there any flavor in the juice of mallows? I refuse to touch it. They are like food when I am sick. Oh, that I might have my desire, that Eloah would grant me what I long for, that it would please Eloah to crush me, loose his hand, and cut me off. Then I would still have comfort, and I would rejoice in pain, though not spared, for I have not hidden the words of the Kadosh One. What strength do I have that I should wait? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones? Is my flesh of bronze? Is my help not within me? And is ability driven from me? To one afflicted, kindness, even the one forsaking the reverence of El Shaddai. My brothers are as undependable as a wadi, as a bed on which streams once ran, which are dark because of the ice in which the snow is hidden. When it is warm, they cease to flow. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. The paths of their way turn aside. They enter wastes and perish. Passengers of Tema looked expectantly. Travelers of Shiva waited for them. They were ashamed because they had trusted. They came there and were disappointed. Indeed, you have now become the same. You see downfall and are afraid. Did I ever say, give to me, or offer a bribe for me from your wealth, or rescue me from the hand of the enemy, or redeem me from the hand of oppressors? Teach me, and I shall be silent, and show me where I have gone astray. Words of uprightness are harsh, but what does your reproving reprove? Do you reckon to reprove my words and the sayings of one in despair, which are as wind? You would cast lots over the fatherless and make merchandise of your friend. But now, please look at me, whether I would lie to your face. Relent, please. Let there be no unrighteousness. Relent! My righteousness is still in it. Is there unrighteousness on my tongue? Does my taste not discern what is perverse? Eob, Job, chapter 7. Does not man have to struggle on earth? For his days are like the days of a hired man, like a servant who sighs for the shade, and like a hireling longing for his wages. So am I allotted months of futility, and nights of trouble have been appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when am I going to rise and the night be ended? For I have had my fill of tossing till dawn. My body is covered with worms and dirt. My skin is cracked and it festers. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle and are spent without expectancy. Remember that my life is a breath. My eye is never again to see good. The eye of him who sees me no longer. Your eyes are upon me, and I am no more. The cloud fades and vanishes away. So he who goes down to the grave does not come up. He returns no more to his house, nor does his place know him any more. I do not hold my mouth. I speak in the distress of my spirit. I complain in the bitterness of my being. Am I the sea or a sea serpent that you put a guard over me? When I say, my bed comforts me, my couch eases my complaint, then you frighten me with dreams and make me afraid with visions, so that my being chooses strangling, death rather than my bones. I have wasted away. I would not live forever. Leave me alone, for my days are a breath. What is man that you should make him great, that you should apply your heart to him, that you should visit him every morning, trying him every moment? How long do you not look away from me, nor leave me alone till I swallow my saliva? Have I sinned? What have I done to you, O watcher of men? Why have you marked me as your target, so that I am a burden to you? And why do you not pardon my transgression and take away my wickedness? For now I lie down in the dust, and you shall seek me, but I am not.